Well, it's more than, it's to get the people. Look, selling fear and hysteria is the way you control the people. It's as simple as that. And you want to talk about climate change? How about you like those GMOs? How about all the pesticides they throw in our food? I know you like artificial colors and artificial flavors. They're killing us in 1,000 ways. All the poisons that they're pumping into the air, into the food, into the water. And again, look at this war that's going on over in Ukraine. How about all that stuff blowing up in the air and poisoning people all over the place? So climate change, they use this stuff for fear and hysteria and control. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
The bottom line is control. Some guy running for office over here. I just got this in my mailbox. See it here? It says, politicians talk about problems. Leaders solve them. Ulster Town supervisor. What leader? Who the hell are you to lead me? Who came up with this leader crap? I lead you. I pay your salary, dumbbell. You're not my leader. Going back to climate change, I'm your leader. I'll lead you. What people have to get in their mind is that the political system is a crime syndicate. They're murderers and thieves. By their deeds you shall know them. How much more money do they have to steal from us for too big to fails and tax breaks for the rich? And how many wars do they have to start, killing millions and millions of people? So climate change is just one of the things to take more control. And again, there are elements of it that are legitimate in the sense that you can't keep poisoning the earth. So here we go. When you put the Iraq war and the Ukraine war together, depending on whose numbers you're looking at, it's a minimum of $4 trillion, $5 trillion that was spent. What if you put $5 trillion into coming to a 21st century energy source? We'd have it within months. They don't want it. Again, what people have to get in their minds is you have mentally ill people running the show.
What do you think the government's agenda is with people's pension funds and retirement funds?
Oh, they're going to be screwed. You're seeing it already happening. As the markets go down and it's one after another, pensions are going bust. They're losing a lot of dough. They invested in things that, they play the game. It's going to be terrible. We are going into the worst socio-economic and geopolitical crisis in modern history. Period, paragraph.
What can people do to protect the wealth, what they've got, their homes, their investments? What can they do practically, Gerald, in your opinion, from your wide observation of?
Again, my expertise isn't in that field. For me, speaking for myself, I started buying gold at $187.50 an ounce back in, I think it was 1978. I buy it and put it away, 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 buy it and put it away. So that when I'm finished, ready to go, I got what I need. But they need to go to people that are skilled expertise in this field to make the right investments into the markets, into equities, whatever it might be. That's not my field. My field is looking at the trends shaping the future.
The future, I mean, you made a statement that the greatest fear the government has are freedom of speech and exposing the corruptness and ineptitudes of governments. Have you ever seen a time when governments have been so basically singing from the same hymn book? You've been around, you've seen the political field. Have you ever seen them ever doing this in your
Sure.
life?
Yeah. Again, not in my life, but I mean, how about World War II? How about World War I? I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy. a Yankee Doodle do or die. We're going to bring freedom and democracy around the world. And that scum bag, that guy, I say Harvard, Princeton, Yale, bullets, bombs, and banks. Woodrow Wilson got us into World War I, gave us the Federal Reserve, he gave us federal income tax. One guy. Everybody loves Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was pro-slavery. He was pro-federalization. Only killed 450,000 Americans and destroyed the South. So you got crazy people in charge.
Yeah.
And again, when you look at what's going on, they're rewriting history already. They're blaming everything that's happening now that's negative on the pandemic. Read it. They say not the pandemic, it's the politicians. The draconian lockdown mandates they imposed on people. But you see how they're rewriting history right in front of our eyes. They're blaming it, quote, on the pandemic.
Yeah. Gerald, you're an expert at exposing some of the government lies. Can you tell us some of the big BS lies they've thrown at us over the last couple of years? I mean, we know the COVID one. What's some of the other biggest BS that they've thrown at us?
Well, again, it's never ending. The COVID war was the beginning of it, the worst of the worst. The COVID war changed the world. 2020 changed the world. Work at home. You think I want to commute an hour and a half on the LIE back and forth? I hate it. I don't want to work this. Oh, yeah, look, I got 20 stories in an office building, let's say. I'm one of these big companies. Yeah, you stay at home a couple of days a week. Now I only need about 8 stories, and I just saved myself $20 million. The whole world has changed.
Yeah.
And people are freaked out. So to me, that's that. And then you go back and you like the war on terror. We never used to have to. I started flying first class at 1974. And I remember when they used to roll down a roast and would you like a lobster thermidor? and you didn't get felt up when you went into the airport. And now look how crappy flying is. So it's gone, it keeps getting worse. And when it started with, after the Vietnam War, there was freedom in this country. Things really changed. It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It was a wild time. And then the war on terror came. But everything changed. How could anybody with a brain bigger than a pea listen to a stupid little freak, a little daddy's boy born on third base and thought he had a home run with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball, George W. Bush? How can you be so damn stupid? We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. Oh, and every day in the media is how Russia's losing the war in Ukraine. They didn't cover the America's loss of the war in Iraq every day. They didn't cover the loss of America's war in Afghanistan for 20 years every day. It's propaganda.
How does the average person see through the BS? I mean, there's a lot of people that are awake here in Australia. Guys like me are called conspiracy theorists, and I tell them the difference between a conspiracy theorist and reality is about 3 months. When I said there was going to be lockdowns, people were going to lose their jobs. 285 professions now have a shortfall of staff, not because of anything else, but the stupid mandates. In this country, they mandated, well, Morrison said it's not a mandate, but it was a mandate. They mandated, unless you got vaccinated, you'd lose your job.
Yep.
And people now, there is this shortfall, and they keep blaming stuff. People have seen it. Is it the same over there in what you see in the US?
Same thing. Same thing all over the world. No jab, no job. And it's destroyed it. Again, the latest numbers came out on Thursday in the United States. 4.3 million people quit their jobs last month. People, when they lock down everybody, people are staying at home. They say, no, I hate my job. I hate what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. I don't want to do it anymore. Again, the chain, it goes back to what you're talking about with Carl Schwab and the rest. The bigs have taken over everything. The mom and pop businesses destroyed. Italy, over 100,000 businesses out of business.
Wow.
A Spiegel just came out last week, 15,000 German businesses in Berlin going out of business. It's one after another.
No.
The UK, 183,000 businesses gone.
Wow. Folks, I know Gerald Celente. He sounds like a prophet. He looks like a prophet. I believe he is a prophet. And if you want to get well, and I mean that to predict, I use prophet because of my church background, but Gerald, you're a great one. I love your fire, brother. I love your fire. You kind of remind me of a Pentecostal preacher. But I want to encourage everyone, get his newsletter. My business partner, former business partner, Steve Esser, absolutely loves it. Where can we find your newsletter? How can people subscribe to that?
Well, it's not actually, it's a magazine, and the average page is like about it's trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. You know, we give you history before it happens. We tell you what in the world is going on, what you might want to do, and what's next. And again, we give the facts of the article, the facts, this is what's going on, this is what's being reported, and then we give our analysis, so you know that we're not twisting it. We're giving you the facts, and then our trends analysis, and then the trend forecasts. And by the way, this is the time for people to become on-trendpreneurs. What we try to do is to give you the opportunities. This is the business that to get into. This is the one that you might not want to get into. This is what nobody's doing that somebody should be doing. So we do as much as that as we can as well. And again, the motto of the magazine is think for yourself.
And guys, I want to encourage you, to fight for your financial freedom. Don't be a slave to the cartels, to the banksters, to those people that want to the mob, the mafia, the economic mafia that tries to keep you enslaved. That's why we bring people like Gerald on and Sean. Gerald, is there anything that you'd like to leave us with? Any predictions, anything that you want to sow into our lives before we
Yeah, no, the most important thing is World War III has begun, and that people better do something to stop it. United we stand, divided we die. And if you want to donate to occupypeace.com, Occupy Peace, we have to get an international peace movement. Did you ever hear of Van Morrison?
Pardon me?
Van Morrison?
I remember Van Morrison. Sunset Boulevard, great album.
Yep. Well, Van Morrison just contacted me a couple of weeks ago. He wanted to meet me. So I met with him. And we were both talking about this. And he came out against the vax. He said, I'm not anti-vax, but don't tell me what to do when you're destroying all the businesses, the entertainment business, you can't do any of it. And we talked about fighting for peace. And that's what we're trying to do the most. We're trying to unite a global movement for a peace movement and stop this madness about the Ukraine war. It's not my war. They're taking down a statue of Catherine the Great in Ukraine. Oh, Catherine the Great, because she didn't like the Ukrainians, according to them. You mean this has been going on since 1750? You got this border dispute going on between you two people between 1750, and you want me to get involved in this? So Van Morrison and I are working together as much as we can to get a major global peace movement going. So anybody that wants to donate what you can, please go to occupypeace.com, occupypeace.com. Again, every penny that we get, we do the best we can to push this, because again, my business is forecasting trends. World War III has started, and these mentally ill Morrisons and all. Again, you like Gallipoli? Wasn't that wonderful? Aren't all you Australian people that had ancestors that died in that useless war happy about that? Again, could you imagine Morrison leading the charge, or the other clown that just became the head over there, or Biden leading the charge, or Obama leading the charge, or Slick Willie Clinton leading the charge, or the senator's son leading the charge? No, only we, the little people of slave land here. Go on, go out there.
Yeah. Well, Gerald, you're a breath of fresh air. We love your fire. We love your mindset. Thanks so much for being part of today. And everyone get out there and support Gerald and his fine work. Thank you so much.
And thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing.